Kentucky's Reed Sheppard has transformed from a local high school hero and the best freshman in men's college basketball.
He's quicker, faster than people might think. He can finish around the rim. He's got a really good pull-up game.
He has good footwork. He's gotten in better shape. His conditioning's better from last year.
All right, so March Madness's Sweet 16 is finally here. Some of the best college teams are remaining, and a ton of prospects for the 2024 draft are going to be playing over the next couple of days. So I thought, let's do a mid-March Madness mock draft update. So if you guys do enjoy these mock draft videos, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on this video. And like always, let me know what you agree with or disagree with in the comments below. We're hopping on fanspo.com, the best mock draft simulator website by far for NBA mock. It's not even a sponsored video. Like, they truly are the best by far. All right, so we're going to do a draft lottery simulation. We're pretty much going to do these until the draft lottery, which I believe is on May 12th this year. That's Sunday, a little bit earlier, I think, than usual. So let's find out who gets lucky here in the lottery simulation. And it's going to be the Toronto Raptors. They get the #1 overall pick. Chicago, there's some luck for you. You get #2. Detroit #3, Memphis 4. Washington is going to wrap out the top 5. OKC will get Houston's pick at 10 and Utah's pick at 12 because the Houston pick, top 4 protected. The Utah pick is top 10 protected. All right, so if the Toronto Raptors got the #1 overall pick, I think this would be a no-brainer. I think it would be Alex Sarr. You pair him up in the front court with Scotty Barnes, and you really don't have to take a tweener guy in between Barnes and Pirtle. That could be not the best floor spacer in the world. You could still experiment with Scotty Barnes as the lead ball handler, have RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley still play off ball, and Grady Dick as well. And I would love that because you can now make Scotty Barnes pretty versatile, playing him at the 1, playing him at the 4, and even Alex Sarr, you could run some lineups with him and Jakob Pirtle out there. We've seen it work with the Knicks in the playoffs with Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't think Pirtle's as good as those guys, but you can now experiment Sarr with another big next to him because I think Sarr will be able to develop an outside jumper eventually in the NBA, and I'm sure Masai Ujiri would love this pick. So Alex Sarr, #1. He's tending towards like a consensus #1 in my opinion. There's very few teams where I think it could be in question. Maybe Detroit, if you do question the Jalen Duren fit, but like Washington, Memphis, San Antonio, Portland, I think even Charlotte should take Sarr #1. So at #2, Chicago, this is pretty cool. So Chicago is going to be a playing tournament team most likely. I don't think that they end up beating either it's Miami, Philadelphia, Indiana, one of those teams to advance. But at #2 here, I think they would go with the high upside play, and that's Zachary Reese-Shea. He's borderline a top 3 prospect for me right now. I really started to dive into the Ron Holland tape. Love him a ton out of the G League Ignite and his upside in the league, and I think could be very good for Chicago if they wanted to look at that route. But I like Reese-Shea, also high upside, could be a floor spacing big. Put him next to Vucevic for some high upside offensive lineups, but could also be a 3 as well. Like, you have Ayo Dosunmu, you have Kobe White. It's TBD if DeMar DeRozan is going to be back next year. Let's go out and get Zachary Reese-Shea. I don't want to see Chicago draft a guard in my opinion because they also have Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso. Let's not do that. So this is interesting for the Pistons at 3. Like, Rob Dillingham, Nikola Topic on the board could be interesting plays. I like the idea of Ron Holland here, but there's definitely question mark with his floor spacing ability out there with Asor Thompson and Jalen Duren. So this is a really tough situation for Detroit. I don't really like Dillingham on this team. I don't know if Jaden Ivey's their long-term answer alongside Cade Cunningham. So I don't really like the idea of Nikola Topic either, even though if you do move on from Ivey, Cade could be kind of a little bit of an off-ball player and have Topic be the 1. I'm leaning towards either Matas Buzelis, who definitely is a project play, but I don't know if Detroit wants the project play right now, or they could look at Reed Sheppard, who can come in right away. Definitely not going to be an all-NBA player, in my opinion, one day, but could be a good connector piece, could be somebody that can be a good passer, knock down shots, make the right reads, play good defense. I know he's a little smaller out there, but he's 6'3", man. I think he could play alongside Cade. This is just like a play. Do we think that Jaden Ivey's the long-term answer? Stephon Castle could also be in play here at 3. I'm leaning more and more towards Cody Williams outside the top 5. This is definitely the toughest pick I've had to make in a while in one of these mocks. So I don't love it, but I think Reed Sheppard is somebody that can still provide some floor spacing ability. He's going to step in and right away be the second best shooter on this team. He's better than Asor Thompson, better than Jaden Ivey from downtown, and I think that's something that Detroit needs after moving on from Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic. There's been some inconsistencies with Marcus Sasser and Quentin Grimes this year. He could join Simone Fontecchio as being some of the best shooters on this team with Cade Cunningham. It's a little high at 3. I agree. I don't love it. This is why mocks are super fun to do, because we enter different scenarios, and it's really tough to see kind of who goes where in some of these mocks. So at number 4, I think this could be a G League Ignite play. I think this could be either Matas Buzelis or this could be Ron Holland. I like Holland more than Buzelis. I really do, but I think that Memphis would look in the higher upside play of Buzelis, who I think can become a very good defender with his length, with his ball skill abilities. He's got a really good handle. He can knock down tough shots as well, and he's going to continue to get better and better. And they took a really raw prospect in the second round last year in GG Jackson, and he's worked out. They've taken more NBA ready guys in David Roddy, Jake Laravia, who haven't really worked out. So I'm going to opt for Matas Buzelis here at number 4. Definitely an interesting start to this mock so far. So now we're here at number 5 with the Washington Wizards. Also didn't mention 2-round mock draft for you guys as well today. I think this is a pretty easy one for me. This is Nikola Topic, even though I do think they should re-sign Tyus Jones. He's been very good for them. I think Jones could be a good mentor for Nikola Topic, and then you can have a good point guard duo next year, because Topic can now further along develop Bilal Coulibaly, Deni Avdija, even Corey Kispert a little bit as well. I'm sure they would love to get a big man. I think this is a little high to go after Donovan Clingan, who's kind of emerging as the center number 2 in this class behind Alex Sarr, and obviously with Sarr off the board, you're not going to be getting a top tier center. So I'm going to go with Nikola Topic at number 5, who definitely still has top 3 potential in this class. It was just weird because like Chicago ended up at number 2. Don't want them to take a guard. I mean, I ended up having Detroit take a guard, but Reed Shepard's more of an off-ball guard. Topic kind of needs the ball in his hands to excel. So we're on the clock here at number 6 with San Antonio. This is going to be Rob Dillingham for me. I think like Shepard could honestly become a better passer. Definitely Topic is the best passer out of the 3, him and the 2 Kentucky players. But Dillingham could be just an elite shooter and still also help progress Victor Wembanyama to being one of the better players in the NBA, because he's still a good playmaker as well and has more scoring upside, which San Antonio could definitely use as well, with like Keldon Johnson kind of being stagnant this year. And Devin Vassell has definitely progressed, but Dillingham probably could be the 3rd best offensive guy on this team at the end of his rookie season. So I'm going to take Dillingham at 6. I think that's good value for him. On the clock here at 7 for the Charlotte Hornets. There's a couple guys I could like here. I do like Ron Holland. In between him, Brandon Miller and Mark Williams, I could talk myself into that. I like the idea of Stephon Castle, though, at 7 as a combo guard between LaMelo and Brandon Miller. I think Cody Williams could be in play in as well. I've been up and down with Cody Williams as of late. He kind of had a really poor into the season of Pac-12 play. Up and down, did not really play great in the play-in game against Boise State. Played a little bit better against Florida, but still doesn't feel like super comfortable out there. So I'm actually going to go with somebody I think a little bit more upside right away, and that's going to be Stephon Castle. He could be, I think, more of a wing, an off-ball player, a combo guard right between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, and I think a better version of what I thought Nick Smith could have been last year when they took him at the end of the 1st round. So on the clock here at 8 with the Portland Trailblazers, this is a good spot for them. I think it's whatever wing they like more between Cody Williams and Ron Holland. I think Clingan could be in play here as well, but I'm going to opt for Ron Holland, who has all defensive team upside potential on that end of the floor. An incredible defender, could be coming right away. Is not going to steal any minutes from Scoot, Simons, or even Shaedon Sharpe, and he's going to be behind Jeremy Grant, and then could kind of progress and develop off the bench as like a secondary slasher role, and then could kind of progress to being more of a lead offensive option towards the back end of that rookie contract. We'll see if they move on from like Jeremy Grant or DeAndre Ayton or Robert Williams, but I like the fit of Holland there in Portland. Kind of hope it's under a new head coach, but we'll see. So coming in here at number 9, we have Houston via the Brooklyn Nets, and I think this is where they could also take a chance on a guy as well. Like, I think Cody Williams, like, why not? Like, you have maybe an opening at that long-term 3 spot. I don't think it's Dylan Brooks super long-term, and Cam Whitmore has shown flashes, but let's give him some competition, and let's bring in Cody Williams. We'll see if Jalen Green's going to get that rookie extension by the end of this season. Williams can also play the 2, the 3, or even the 4 as well, so he's not going to really steal one specific position's minutes, and he can kind of be a fringe 4 with Jabari Smith out there as well. Definitely needs to work on some parts of his game, but I think Houston has done a good job progressing Jabari Smith. I think they did a great job, obviously, progressing Alperen Şengün. It seems like they're on the right track with Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore, so let's bring in Cody Williams to Houston. I feel like some Thunder fans are going to hate this, but I love it. I love Donovan Clingan here. I know some people say Sam Presti doesn't like to draft big men. Well, what do you consider Chet Holmgren a big man? Even Poku and Ousmane Dieng considered big men as well. Donovan Clingan is a good center. I don't know why people don't want them to draft a big man here just to be behind Chet Holmgren, somebody that's NBA ready, as the Thunder could make a finals run this year, and I'm sure want to be back in that conversation next next year with their young core. So let's bring in Klingon, could be one of the better young backup big men in the league behind Chet Holmgren, who's had some injury concerns in the past. So this is a good insurance piece in Klingon who can come in, be a good rim roller, pick and roll partner with the second unit. If it's Kason Wallace, maybe it's Josh Giddey if they're staggering minutes. And I think the rich just get richer here. This is a phenomenal fit for OKC. I love this a ton. And they have another pick at 12 as well. So the Thunder are sitting pretty. We got the Hawks here at 11. This is going to be a little unorthodox, but I'm a huge Tyler Smith fan. I really am. I think you can run some lineups with him and Jalen Johnson as your forward combo. You can even play some minutes with him at the 5 as well. I do think that there's a chance that Clint Capella is off the team next year, but they have another first round pick as well from the Kevin Huerter trade where I think they could target a big man. I'm not going to really just take Kyle Filipowski just to do it right here. So I love the high upside play of Tyler Smith. He's one of my favorite players in this class, and I would love him with Trae Young, who would definitely further his development at a quicker rate, I think, playing with an elite passer and playmaker like Trae Young and that facilitator. Oh my God. I actually love that fit of Tyler Smith in Atlanta. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I would love that fit, and I don't know if he'd be available with that next pick that they have. So on the clock here, Thunder at number 12. Let's take Dalton Connect, man. I think that the Thunder thought that Gordon Hayward was going to be this nice offensive force off the bench for them, and I know Connect obviously isn't going to be like super elite right away, but I think could have a similar transition to the NBA's Jaime Jaquez did last year from UCLA. So let's bring in Connect, run that second unit with Donovan Klingon, Kason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins at times as well, Kenrich Williams, and Jay Will, and I do think Klingon is an upgrade over Jay Will, not Jay Dub, but Connect would be a great offensive piece off the bench. They have two guys, Connect and Klingon, who can contribute right away for them next year as they're going to try to win the finals in 2025. So now the Pelicans are on the clock here at 13. This is from the Lakers. They could choose to keep this pick or they can opt it for the 2025 draft. I feel like it's at 13. They would probably want it. So there's a couple guys that I do like here. And like Jacoby Walter just is screaming at me, who I think has like top 7 potential, but I've been reading a lot of mocks and they have him like kind of going in the lottery or right outside the lottery. I think it's like him or Isaiah Collier that I like a ton here. And you know what? I'm gonna have them take Isaiah Collier here. I think they could use some point guard depth going forward. I like the fit of Collier in New Orleans next year as McCollum's getting up there in age, and he could be a good playmaker and a good offensive force off the bench. So I like Collier in New Orleans at the back end of the lottery. And to finish out the lottery with Portland here at 14, this is a Kyle Filipowski pick to me. We had them go Ron Holland before. Let's let them get another front court member in Kyle Filipowski, somebody that could maybe be an offensive hub up the bench because he's actually a good playmaker and passer in the post. I don't think he's going to be elite at that at the NBA level because he would be going a lot higher, but I think he's someone that could space the floor, can make a pass or two, be efficient inside, and play, you know what, plus defense as well. So Filipowski at 14, I like that lottery for Portland getting Holland and Filipowski there. So that's what the lottery looks like. Let's get into the non-lottery first round pick. At 15, this is the Raptors via the Indiana Pacers from the Pascal Siakam trade. They got Alex Sarr number 1 overall. I think this is an easy pick here, high upside in Jacoby Walter. And if you're landing Sarr and Walter, I blessed you, Raptors fans. I blessed you with this mock for sure because Walter could definitely be in that backcourt and even play alongside RJ Barrett. He has 3-and-D potential at the next level. I even think he could be a really good 3-level scorer. I think he can knock down 3-point shots. I think he can have a good mid-range jumper, and I think he could be efficient inside. He definitely needs to work on aspects of his game, but I really like the fit of him in Toronto, and this is a great draft for Toronto so far. So we're on the clock here at 16 with the Orlando Magic. I think they're going to look for some shooting right away. This team desperately needs shooting, and Jared McCain, who could stay another year at Duke and be a top 10 pick next year because of how good he is off ball, on the ball. And I would love him in Orlando because he's an elite 3-point shooter, leading the catch and shoot, elite off the dribble, elite off screens, and he can come in right away, play alongside Anthony Black. He could definitely play alongside Jalen Suggs as well. And he's more of a 2 than he is a 1. I don't think he's a point guard, but he's a good shooting guard right away. Decent size, could play some decent defense as well, but just be an elite 3-point shooter for something that Orlando definitely needs. So Philadelphia here at 17, they can go a couple different ways. I like the idea of getting some more big man help to put behind Joel Embiid. I've been adamant about that. So I'm going to have them take Yves Missi. I don't think like Bebo Paul is taking a super big step this year as well. He probably is the highest upside out of Zach Edey and Khalil Ware, and maybe Deron Holmes is that second tier of big man. So I'm going to go Yves Missi to the 76ers there at 17, and we have 2 Baylor Bears in the non-outside lottery picks so far. So for the Knicks here at 18, this is definitely going to be Devin Carter out of Providence, an elite rebounder. I always say I think he's this year's Brandon Pojemski for his size. He's not 16 feet, so they have that wrong there, but a good scorer. He's kind of been flirting like with going back to Providence on Twitter, so I don't know if he's going to be in this draft, but if he is, good 3-point shooter, good defender, excellent rebounder, definitely a Tibbs guy right away. At 19 for the Miami Heat, they could take a play like of the Nikola Jovic pick and look at Tijon Salon. Call me crazy, but like Zach Edey like could get some help behind Bam Adebayo. Kevin McCullough could step in right away, kind of like what Jaime Jaquez did for them last year. But you know what? I'm gonna have them take Terrence Shannon. Yeah, this is probably the highest I've mocked Shannon so far. Had an incredible Big Ten tournament for Illinois. Has been great in the March Madness tournament so far. You've definitely heard his name at Illinois. He could be a 3-level scorer on the older side as well, but could come in and contribute. They maybe need some guard help. I don't know. Hero's had his injuries this year, so going forward, he could be some nice insurance for them. And that'd be some fun two-man lineups like off the bench, like or just like in general, you just have Jaime Jaquez and Terrence Shannon running the show together. That'd be kind of fun to watch because I feel like throughout the regular season, Hero may miss some time. Jimmy seems like he does miss some time usually, so let's get some wing insurance. And here we are on the clock at 20 with the Atlanta Hawks. And I had them go Tyler Smith, who's like a fringe 4, fringe 5. And then the way that this draft kind of fizzled out, Khalil Ware, I think, is in play. Deron Holmes, I think, is in play, where I guess ESPN has him very low, which is weird. It's kind of asinine, like that low. What are we doing? So I'm between 3 guys. I think this is where Tijon Salon can go, though. I think he has center upside as well, and I think that's where Atlanta could be trending in that direction, is going for like a new wave of talent, getting Tyler Smith, getting Tijon Salon, big men that could space the floor and really open up the court for Trae Young, and I think that's where Quinn Snyder could head and progress that offense as well. So let's go with Tijon Salon there. High upside plays for Atlanta. Definitely very risky plays, but let's try something new in Atlanta. Clearly it's not working out. 21 for the Phoenix Suns. Big man here 100%. Let's get some big man depth. They definitely need it. I'm between Edey or Khalil Ware. Who do I think goes higher? Who do I think fits more in Phoenix? I like Khalil Ware playing with veterans like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. He can space the floor a little bit. The thing is him, if he needs to work on his motor, his motivation, there are some character issues I've read up about him, but we'll see. But I think going into a veteran environment in Phoenix could be good for his career. And like, let's not have him end up in like a Washington or a Charlotte. So I like this fit for Ware in Phoenix. The Knicks at 22. Now this could be an Edey play with Isaiah Hartenstein being a free agent. He can get a bag elsewhere, but I think Tibbs would look at maybe, or like the front office, Leon Rose would look at Kevin McCullough. They'd look at Ryan Dunn. Like they took Devin Carter with their first pick. I think it's like, do you want a shot creator off the bench or do you want an elite defender? And I think they would try to mold in Ryan Dunn as like a slasher cutter. I don't know if he's going to develop an outside shot. If he doesn't, he may not be very valuable in 5+ years. Like we saw what happened with Matisse Thybulle, at least current day with the Portland Trailblazers. But Ryan Dunn has as high as defensive upside as anybody in this class. He's probably the best perimeter defender and overall wing defender coming into this class. So I think that Tibbs would take a chance on a 22, but I highly doubt that the Knicks make 2 first-round picks. All right, 23, the New Orleans Pelicans. We ended up taking Isaiah Collier at 13. I think this is where I'm going to have Zach Edey go. Jonas Valanciunas is a pending free agent. They need some big man depth. Let's get somebody that can help them right away. I don't think he's going to be a starting caliber big for very long in the NBA, but I think he could be a good enough backup. It depends on how good his mobility, his acceleration, just his overall speed. Like it's just faster NBA players is going to work out. But I think he has a very high floor and could be a solid backup big. So I'm going to have Edey go 23 to the Pelicans. We're on the clock here at 24 for the Milwaukee Bucks, where I think Zach Edey could have been a good fit there as well. So I'm going to go Keyshawn George out of Miami. A little bit more of a project play. I think is going to be really good on the back end of that rookie deal rather than right away, but has good 3-and-D upside, and I think Milwaukee needs to hit on those guys. I don't know what's going on with Marjon Beauchamp. They did a poor job developing him this year. Same with Andre Jackson, in my opinion. I think they could have been a lot better. But let's go for Keyshawn George, get some more 3-and-D guys, which every team can always use a lot of. So 25 with the Washington Wizards, a team that I think could use some big man help. I like Ethan Almanza a ton out of the G League Ignite. I do like the opportunity for Bobby Clinton in Washington, high upside, but I'm going to take Deron Holmes, who I think could be a good scorer for them right away and could be a 5 spot. They moved Daniel Gafford. I would like to see the center rotation not fully be Marvin Bagley and Rashawn Holmes next year. So I think this is a good spot for Deron Holmes going there at 25. Cleveland at 26. This could be a Kevin McCullough pick. I think they'd be thrilled to get him here. I like Dylan Jones, Jalen Tyson. Even this could be like Oso Ighodaro or Tristan Da Silva, who I've mocked a ton here. So I'm going to have this be, I think Johnny Furphy is also a high upside play. I've seen a lot of Cam Johnson comps to him as well. So you know what? Who knows how much longer like Karis LeVert will be here. I think Max Strus has been great for them, but they can kind of develop Furphy a little bit. So I'm going to have Furphy go 26 there to the Cavs. 27, we have the Denver Nuggets. I like Kevin McCullough. Can come in right away and contribute for this team off the bench as a scoring wing. And like you would have him and Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson. I think that's a good trio of wings going forward for that team when obviously you have your core of MPJ, Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Aaron Gordon. 28, Minnesota. I like backup point guard here. I think it's whoever you like the most between like KJ Simpson, Bub Carrington, Tyler Kolek, DJ Wagner. I think Kolek could help them right away. I think Carrington has a higher upside, but I'm going to have Tyler Kolek go 28 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He could come in right away, be a good facilitator off the bench behind Mike Conley. 29, the Utah Jazz here, losing out on their first rounder, going to the OKC Thunder there. So I'm going to have them go point guard, and I'm going to have them take Bub Carrington. I think he can kind of compete with Keontae George going forward, but I also think you can have some lineups out there with Carrington at the 1 and Keontae George at the 2, because I don't think Jordan Clarkson is like a long-term franchise guy there. And Bub Carrington has played very well for Pitt towards the end of the year in ACC play. So I like that fit for him in Utah. And at 30 to wrap up this first round, we got the Boston Celtics. There's a couple guys I like. I don't think they would go point guard here. I like Tristan da Silva to go in the first round. I like Bobby Klintman to go in the first round as well with his upside. And I think I'm going to take that. A little bit more of a project play, but I think this would be a great fit and environment for him to develop his game in Boston. And you know what? He played at Wake Forest last year. He played in the NBL, the National Basketball League, a very good organization this year. Let's get him in Boston next year on one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. All right, so we're going to go through this second round a little bit quicker. At 31 for the Toronto Raptors, we had them take Alex Sarr and Jacoby Walter. Love this draft for them so far. So I think they can go a little bit of a combo wing here in Tristan da Silva to provide them a little bit of rebounding, scoring, and facilitation off the bench. 32, we have the Utah Jazz up here right again. I think they could use for some wing scoring. They could also look at some big man help as well, like Ethan Almanza and Taylor Hendricks as like the power forward duo next year. I like that. Oso Ighodaro as well. You know what? I like Ethan Almanza. I like his touch around the rim. Him and Carrington, I think, are two solid back end first round, early second round guys. San Antonio at 33. We took Rob Dillingham at 6. Obviously, they didn't get that Toronto Raptors pick. I think they could also go for some big man depth to kind of compete with Zach Collins back there. So I like Oso Ighodaro. He could also play out there with Victor Wembanyama and could maybe even be better than Jeremy Sohan by the end of that rookie deal. I don't think that's likely, but I think he can provide some good competition for that role. 34 with Portland. I went with two front court guys in Holland and Filipowski, so I don't hate the idea of going with a point guard here. Somebody that could just be behind Scoot Henderson if they move on from Malcolm Brogdon. And I think this would be a good chance to take the chance on DJ Wagner. There's AJ Mitchell from Santa Barbara. I like Trey Alexander a ton out of Creighton. Kai Boswell out of Arizona. Reese Beekman and his defensive ability from Virginia. There's a lot of good point guards in this class. But I'm going to have them go KJ Simpson. I think he can contribute right away and be a good backup to Scoot Henderson. Milwaukee at 35. They went with Keyshawn George. Trayvon Brazil here, maybe. I like Alex Carabin. This could be the Ulrich pick out of the Africa Academy. And do I like this? Yeah, you know what? We'll go with this. I think Milwaukee could take a higher upside guy in the second round because he's just 18 years old, but I think they could try to develop him going forward. Minnesota here at 36. I love Alex Carabin in this class. He's one of the best slashers and cutters in all of college basketball right now, and he could step in right away, but I think let's get them some scoring. I like Jalen Tyson a ton. I like Dylan Jones a ton. Let's go Jalen Tyson out of Cal. So they end up with Kolek and Tyson in this draft, and then Philadelphia at 37. This is beautiful. I like Dylan Jones going to them, so we have Jones and Tyson and back-to-back picks. We have Memphis at 38. We ended up with Matas Buzelis at number 4. They could kind of go all over the place here. Not really sure who's going to enter the draft, but I think they can go wing here. This could be they took a project play with Buzelis. Let's go with Daidet out of France here. He has a really smooth looking jumper. You should look it up on YouTube. And I feel like this could be a Memphis pick. Honestly, this could be low for him. People do think that he could end up going maybe even near the lottery. We can definitely get some Bilal Coulibaly hype with him going closer to the draft. So we're on the clock here, 39 with the Charlotte Hornets. They could go for some backup point guard play, but I also like them going with some forward help. Harrison Ingram has been very good for UNC down the stretch. Hunter Salas has been a very fun prospect out of Wake Forest, but maybe similar to Stephon Castle. Baylor Shireman. This could be Alex Carabin as a nice floor spacer for LaMelo and put him next to Mark Williams. You know what? I'm a big Carabin fan. I'm a little bit higher on him than I feel like the consensus, but I'm going to have him go there to Charlotte. 40, Portland. We just took KJ Simpson at 34. This could also be another big man play off the board here. I don't know specifically where I like. This could be Kalkbrenner. Wow. Remember Damar and his preseason hype, man? He's kind of fallen off. This could be PJ Hall. I think I'm going to give some more big man competition. Let's go with Dembona from UCLA. I think the Knicks could use some shooting here at 41. Who do I like going to the Knicks? Trayvon Brazil could be in play here. Pele Larson Justin Edwards, Harrison Ingram. You know what? I like Harrison Ingram. He's a good shooter, good three-point shooter. I think the Knicks could use that in the second round. We got Boston here at 42. I love Hunter Salas. This is definitely a good fit. Salas and Klitman, one current Wake Forest player and another former one in Klitman. Like that a ton. Let's go PJ Hall. Can kind of come in right away and contribute for this Spurs front court out of Clemson. Still alive, man. Still alive in the Sweet 16. They're on a nice little Cinderella run. I mean, their first round in round of 64 wasn't an upset, but the round of 32 was. Houston at 44. We took Cody Williams all the way back at 9. I think they can go also for some point guard help. Yeah, behind Van Vliet and Amen Thompson. I think this is pretty low for like Trey Alexander. Yeah, these guys are kind of going too low in this mock. So let's have Trey Alexander go there. Orlando at 45 with Markelle Fultz leaving. I like AJ Mitchell, who can also be a combo guard and provide some floor spacing ability with him, and I drafted Jared McCain. Love that pick in the first round. Clippers at 46. Let's have them take a chance on DJ Wagner. I don't know if Bones Hyland is going to be there long term. Who knows if James Harden's going to be back. 47, we do have the Miami Heat. I think we're going to see possibly them go a little bit more. I don't know. We went Terrence Shannon, who is probably NBA ready. So let's go Trayvon Brazile here as well in the second round. Boston, we just drafted Hunter Salas with. They could look, I think Baylor Shireman here, who could be like a Sam Hauser three-point shooter role for them. 49 for the 76ers. Cam Spencer out of UConn, I like him a ton. There was one player that I was looking at specifically. I'm not sure what he's listed as here. I was looking for Antonio Reeves. Yeah, and I'm going to have Antonio Reeves, another Kentucky guy, going to Philadelphia. Sacramento 50. They don't have the Kevin Huerter pick. So I'm going to have them take Melvin Ajinka. Could be a four spacer too, coming overseas. 51, Washington Wizards. We had them take Topic and Deron Holmes there in the first round. Let's go a high upside play in Justin Edwards. Just grab another wing. 52 with the Pacers. First pick here, obviously because of the Pascal Siakam trade. There could be a couple guys that I like here. There's still a couple good point guards on the board. Reese Beekman, defensive potential right away. Same with Jamal Sheed out of Houston. Depends who do I like more. And then you also have Tyrese Proctor as well. You know what? Let's go Proctor out of Duke. Could kind of come and contribute. Pistons at 53. We took Reed Shepherd. I don't think I want them to take a guard here. So I'm looking at like Zvonimir Ivicic, who could space the floor. And if he goes 53, take the chance on him, right? Like a 7'2" guy that could space the floor, you might as well. Pacers at 54. I like Keyshawn Johnson with Obi Toppin potentially not coming back next year. Could just be more depth at that 4 spot. I think the Lakers could definitely use some size at 55. Let's take someone that's still playing. We could take Ryan Kalkbrenner. There's Broom as well that we could go with out of Auburn, even though they got upsetted by Yale. Let's go Cam Spencer to the Pacers at 56. I mean, he's a very good college basketball player. I don't think it's going to translate too much to the NBA level, but he's so much fun to watch at UConn. He's just like one of those typical like shit talkers that is just very entertaining. Either you love him or you hate him. I'm going to go Juan Nunez here to the Suns at 57, even though they don't have that pick, but maybe they can get him in undrafted free agency. Grizzlies 58. Love this pick for Jamal Sheed. Just a really good defensive guard right away. 59 with the Nuggets. This could also be Reek Speakman, another good point guard defender in this class going. And at 60, I believe this pick, or one of these picks that I just recently made, was forfeited as well. So there's so many guys that I feel like could get drafted. Like, would they take a chance on RJ Davis out of UNC? I think Bronny's going to stay another year at USC. There's Caleb Love out of Arizona. Wooga Poplar out of Miami. There's Cam Jones, who's a bucket at Marquette if he decides to declare for the draft. Pele Larson is still available. I hate how power forward is listed before small forward. I don't really love any power forwards left, like Jalen Bridges from Baylor. Spencer Jones from Stanford could be in play. With the final pick, I'm going to go Johnny Broom here out of Auburn to finish out this 2-round mid-March Madness mock draft. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you made it through, could you drop a thumbs up on this video? I would really appreciate it. Let me know if you liked or disliked where I had maybe your favorite team going in this mock draft. My next mock will be once the college season is over, so kind of that second week in April. So be on the lookout for that. So make sure you're subscribed so you can see it. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.